How to start a cultural travel from zero. I've heard many people that are saying that how can I start traveling if I don't have any friends around the world? If this is the very first time that I know about a cultural travel, what should I do? Right? Maybe because you are traveling, you already have friends, you can do it, but how I can do it? Well, actually you can start this cultural travel in your place. As we've seen in the second lection, I started hosting people in my house. For example, in some apps like Couchsurfing, I started to meet people from other countries, for example, from China, from Slovakia, from Argentina, Germany. Many of these people started to become like somehow friends. So maybe if you are new in these things of hosting and getting to know foreigners and people from other countries, maybe it might be a little bit difficult, of course. But you know what? Actually, it's quite interesting because getting to know people that are different from you, first of all, many things can happen. Okay, cultural travel is about getting to know people with different kind of lives, another kind of experience, and maybe even like some things that you never expect, like for example feelings or way of being, spirituality, many things.
That is very spiritual and relaxing.
So when you're hosting people, you have the opportunity to learn about all these things. So it might be a little bit difficult in the beginning to host people, but when you start to host more and more and you learn from different kind of experiences and you realize that it's not actually bad, I can tell you that after 3 or 4 people that you host, it starts to get better and better and better and you become a better host as well. So this is the first step that I recommend you to start your first cultural travel, to host people, to make friends, to make connections, and then after that, these connections will help you to get somehow help when you are traveling. Maybe they can host you, or they can tell you where you can go, or they can tell other people like if they can help you as well, because that's always possible. And you can start making these connections and friendships in your own place. Okay, there is another way for starting a cultural travel that is maybe not that easy, but it's also possible. For example, when you just go to the country and let's see what happens.
It's their fate.
I have done that. For example, when I went to Turkey, I didn't know anybody. Only my brother knew a guy who was traveling in Mexico, and he was maybe like a sort of connection for me. He was a friend of my friend. So this person was really kind and he told other people that if they could host me for some days. After some calls, he found some people that helped me to go around Turkey for 1 month. And you know what? It was amazing because these people gave me something important and they taught me that kindness comes from anybody. Also, when you just go to the country, you can just maybe go by yourself and try to make connections in the public places, for example in bars or restaurants, in cafes, or for example in Couchsurfing, there's also an option where you can see like meetings or you can hang out with people and you can make friends in this way. So when you are going to these places, something that I recommend you is to talk to people because we need people. We need to talk to people in this cultural travel because these people are going to be the ones that will help you throughout your travel. But this is not a selfish way of living because when you are helped by other people, you have to help them as well. And you know what? Not everyone are going to be like your best friends because of course people are different and you are different from them as well. But let's say that when you are learning from somebody that is completely different from you, something that you learn is how you start to adapt yourself for different kind of situations. And this is something that actually helps you out throughout your life. So, to sum up, a cultural travel can happen from your place. Host people, help others before you have the opportunity like to be the local who can show the others your culture, your country, the gastronomy. You can help in many ways other travelers, and then after that, believe me, people will remember you. They will help you after that because everything is about gratitude. All this season of cultural travel is based in gratitude. After that, you're gonna be able to start your first cultural travel because you are part now of a cultural travel of somebody else. So start hosting. Believe me, it's something that you have to learn and it will help you in the future.